Hey guys, so this is kind of where we left off with the butterfly, and we're planning on making a scatter brush from this. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So we could go into the layers panel, turn this off so we can see this better. Just make sure all of this is grouped together. We might even want to clean up this a little bit. I can notice now that there's some extra shapes in here. Maybe I'll ungroup it just to kind of deal with this extra thing I have going on. And this isn't conjoined to this. So one thing we could do is we could just click on these two shapes and go Object, Expand Appearance. And that creates, it makes it no longer a stroke, because we did do strokes with the pencil tool on these, but now they're shapes. And I'm not sure if it did make the ends circles a shape as well, instead of a stroke with an end point on it that's round. So we would just want to combine that together with the Shape Builder tool now so that it's all one clean shape. So when I go to change, I'm going to zoom in quite a bit by Command plus or Control plus on a Windows. But so when I go to change the color of this, I can just click on it and quickly change the color, because it's all going to be one thing now, right? Instead of having to go into multiple shapes, multiple strokes, and change the color. Now it's just one clean shape. So it's always a good idea to try to keep your shapes clean. So let's click and drag over this butterfly and push group in the quick actions in the properties panel, or you can do a Command G as in goat on your keyboard, or on a Windows it would be this Control G. So the brushes panel is over here, especially if you're in Window Workspace Essentials Classic, which you should be. That's the workspace that we're always going to be working on in this class. So the brushes panel is here. You can also go to Window Brushes. Where is that at? Right here. And that'll open up that same panel if you happen to not see it. But to make a new brush, we can actually just click on this shape with it being grouped, and we can drag it into the brushes panel. And we want to make a scatter brush out of this, okay? So go ahead and put it on scatter brush, push OK. And let's see, we want these on random, basically all of these on random. So once you get all of these, size, spacing, scatter, rotation, all put to random, let's put this butterfly scatter brush. Oops. So we can name it. Let's change some of these sliders. So just follow my lead. Let's put in, we can just enter it in with your keyboard. So we want 10 there. We want 88, oops, just 88 there. Negative 69 here. You can just punch these in. Negative 180 for the rotation. This one could be 133. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. 94, 81 here, and 180 here. So I'm just entering those with the keyboard. The method, we're just going to leave it on none. Colorization method none, and push OK. So if we get on this brush and we go to the paintbrush tool and we, oops, Command Z, and we try to use that. Okay. Cool. So we do get a result here. I feel like there might be a little bit, we could make some adjustments to this brush, but it really does look its best. I'm going to delete all of this now. So go ahead and just get a blank canvas. I'm zoomed out. I did a Command minus, and I'm going to get back on this brush, and I'm going to make kind of a longer stroke with the brush, and make sure that you just have a stroke color and not a fill. You can also change it over here. And it doesn't matter what color it is necessarily. It's just going to apply that butterfly to it that we made in the brushes panel, the butterfly. But it's a scatter brush is basically a shape that you make. You can custom make it like we did, or you can find one online and you can make a brush from it. And it's just a quick way of bringing in, a variety of things. So if we wanted to, we could, oops, let's click on this, and I think we can adjust our brush settings actually with our stroke selected. I had that selected, I double clicked on the brush, and these are the options. We're back in there. So I can actually adjust this. I think, let's see, does this help? oh, we want the preview checked. So, you know, the spacing was an issue. I feel like we needed a little bit closer spacing. The scatter, maybe not quite so scattery. I want them a little closer. So start adjusting yours to 17, 22, negative 144. The rotation, you know, that the fact that they can rotate 100 and, you know, 80 negative is fine. And we can kind of change. Okay, that's not good. Maybe, yeah, 120 is good. You know, some of these settings, 80 is fine. So just play around with some of these settings, but get them close to what I have here. This is looking pretty good, 1722. But yours is probably going to be different than mine because you made a different butterfly. So you are going to have to select your stroke, double click on the brush in the brushes panel, and then come in here, put the preview button on, and then change some of these settings so that this looks good to you. And you will get a error or like a message popping up to you once you change these. You can push OK, and then it'll say that the brush that's in use and some strokes have been overridden its options. Do you want to apply the changes to the existing brush strokes? Apply to strokes. So make sure you do that. So yeah, we have our brush, you know, we have it dialed in. So one thing that is nice about this is that if you are creating, say, a landscape and you want to bring in some random flowers and some random butterflies and maybe some foliage, like some different grasses and different, you know, sagebrushes and things like that, this would be a good option. If you're making a tree and you want to put leaves on your tree, if you're making some plants and you want to put leaves on the plants or, you know, bud flowers on the plants, you could have several different scatter brushes that you could just make, and you could create a variety of different scatter brushes. So from this one butterfly, we could actually make several different scatter brushes, and I'll show you how to do that quickly next. Okay, so as long as you have something that looks close to what I have, you should be good. Now I'm going to show you how to quickly make, you know, another butterfly from the same one that looks quite a bit different, that you could have a variety. So like say you had several different flowers that you were trying to make, but you just made them different colors, slightly different configurations. That works really well. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go to the brush, and then let's open up the brushes panel, and let's make sure we're on our scatter brush. And let's just press down one time to get a butterfly back, right? And then let's go to Object, Expand Appearance, and now we have a shape, and it's no longer a brush. And I'm just going to rotate it around. If yours is not quite straight, go ahead and rotate it. We can close up the brushes panel. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, so this might be a little tricky, this part, but we're going to use the black arrow tool. We're going to ungroup everything. Oops. In the properties panel, and then we're just going to click and drag over one wing, and we're going to try and get all of the shapes selected without getting the middle of the body selected. And then we're going to cut, oops, he is selected, I think. I don't want that selected. So you can push shift and click on something to get it out of your selection. Okay, let's just do quite a different thing there. You know, rotate it a little bit just to change it from its original appearance. Let's go underneath the free transform tool, and under there should be this panel. The free distort tool is what we're going for. So we can actually kind of change the shape of this wing to almost make it look like a completely different butterfly. If we do this and change the color, then we can really get, you know, we can change the wing position, make it look like it's, makes it look like a different butterfly, really is what it does. And you can go pretty, you know, there's only so much you can do here, but I think something like that's going to work good. I'm going to have to tuck it back in. Okay, and then this one, you know, and I can even grab this and rotate it even a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to this wing. Let's see. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, this free transform thing, depending on how, the free distort, depending on how the wing is made. So try and get on that. So we can, you know, really make this butterfly look like its wings are in a different position. I'm really taking the top of this one and kind of bringing it back to make it look like its wings are folded back behind it almost. So if you're having trouble finding this box here. It should be underneath the free transform, but if you do Shift Control B, that will help bring that box up when you are selected on your object. So Shift Control B may help you if you're having issues. If you're having issues, also just let me know, because I know some of this stuff ends up being so much different on your end at times, especially the more complicated these tutorials get. And also don't be afraid to just Google a problem that you're having. If there's something that's happening with your situation that's not quite mirroring what I'm getting, you know, you can always try to do a little research. And then you can also just ask me too, obviously, like I said. So anyway, we have a different one here. We can use the white arrow tool. We can change some of these colors. I'm going to go ahead and change the colors. I'm going to pause the video. So I've got this pretty well figured out here. There is one issue. I want to change this brown color on all the strokes. Well, it appears to be a stroke, but it's really a fill. So I did select the brown with the white arrow tool. And if we go to select, same, fill color, we can actually get all of that brown selected, and we can change it to something different. Maybe I want just a different color for that. You know, something more warm. I'm going to change this too. I'm at it. Doesn't really matter, but anyway. So we're going to go with more of like a warm color palette on this one. So we can do the same process we did before. So we'll click and drag over all these shapes, group it, and then we'll open our brushes panel. We can click and drag this in, make a scatter brush, push OK, and we can make all these random. So you'll notice you don't get a preview button right away in here, which is kind of a bummer, honestly. I wish that we could just have a preview of it first, but you know, we'll just leave it as is and push OK. And then let's go ahead and go to the brush tool and see how this goes. So it did put in, you know, didn't mean to do that. Oops. So it did have a fill color on it. I just took it off. It can have the stroke and it won't show up except for here. So let's actually like go in and we can edit this one in the brushes panel. Double click, and we can actually do a preview now, and we can change the sliders and stuff. And just kind of, I don't know, change these. Don't want to go too crazy, but the rotation is really going to kind of matter quite a bit. How much we rotate it. And so you can see what all these settings do on your own, kind of, but, and apply to strokes. So there's a second one there that we made, and from the same butterfly, but it looks like a different butterfly. And you can do this with any object, really. A variety of leaves. You know, you can make different flowers, different foliage. It's going to be working really well for like natural things, like if you're making a landscape, which you probably will be in the next project, working on kind of a landscape, because the Red Ants Pants poster design contest typically has a landscape featured in the design, the background of the design. So that's kind of why we're working on with scatter brushes, because they could be good for that project coming up. Anyway, go ahead and save this. Just Command S, save that AI file. You should have two different butterflies, two different scatter brushes. You know, you should be in the design layer. And yeah, this will be good for a grade in Brightspace. Thank you. Bye.